Good morning, my girls, and welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Grace. Today, we're gonna do a little get ready with me and get to know me because I've been making a lot of YouTube videos recently, like a lot more than I have and a lot more consistently than I ever have. And there seems to be, actually no, most of the people that watch my videos probably know me, but I'm gonna just make this anyways. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways. Let's just get ready. So obviously my name is Grace, you know that if you clicked on this video, and I was gonna pull up like a little questionnaire and follow that, but I figured maybe it would just be better to talk about the things that I actually care about instead of answering random questions. So to start this journey, we have to travel all the way back to 2001 in Georgia. I was born in November in 2001 in Georgia, and then my sister was born in Georgia about a year and 2 weeks later, and then we moved back to South Carolina, which is where my family is from. My mom's side of the family has always been from South Carolina and still has. No, my dad's family has been from North Carolina, but then they moved between like North Carolina and Georgia and Alabama. So at the time I was born, they were living in Georgia and then quickly moved back to South Carolina. Don't worry though, we're not going to spend so much time on my childhood, not much to look at there. But what I will say, because they're a really big part of my life, is I was born to 2 older brothers, and then not long after had a little sister, and then my mom remarried and I gained an older stepsister, and then later a little half brother. And since then my family has grown so much, it's crazy. I now have 2 sister-in-laws, a brother-in-law, a future brother-in-law, 4, oh my god, 1, 2, 3, oh my god, 4 nieces and 1 nephew, 5 nieces if we include Keaton's side of the family, and 1 nephew. I love being an aunt. That's probably one of my favorite things on the planet. I love all of my little nieces and nephews so much. But we'll start the conversation of my life at age 17 when I moved out of my mom and stepdad's house and moved in with a friend. My whole life completely turned upside down, and I was no longer living the same life that I had lived for 17 years until then. I, at the time, had lost my job, stopped talking to my best friends, broke up with my boyfriend at the time, and moved out of my mom and stepdad's house. So my life was completely different. I changed it, and like that all happened in 1 week. So all of that happened in what the hell? I was 17. That all happened in 2018 to 2019, and then in July of 2019, my boyfriend, my now boyfriend, DM'd me on Instagram. I had no idea who he was. We did not go to the same school. We did not have any mutual friends. He just DM'd me on Instagram, and I, for whatever reason, decided to answer. I never answer Instagram messages of people that I don't know, but this day I decided to answer, which obviously I'm so thankful for now. So then that was kind of the way that it was for a little while. I lived with my friend, worked, and kept going to school, to high school. Then some things went down and I had to move in with Keaton, and it was very abrupt. It was a very abrupt change, but obviously, again, so thankful that it happened. Look at us now. Anyways, I had to start working a lot more, so I stopped going to school, and I stopped going so much that they withdrew me from the high school. So then I had to go get re-enrolled and did online school for my last semester and graduated with my class, and I actually did walk for graduation. I really did not think that I was going to, and I graduated in 2020, so I mean, I know you guys know what that means. So we ended up doing it down on the football field, but then it started raining, so we had to go up into the cafeteria, then back down on the football field, then up in the cafeteria. It was like all over the place, but I walked. But let's scoot back a little bit because I almost forgot. In January of 2020, I bought my brother's house, which is the one that I'm standing in right now, and at first it was just me doing it. It was a big project that Keaton was like, oh my god, I don't want to do this. Like, we were so young. I had just turned 18 and he had just turned 20, so like it was a lot. It was a lot to look at and take on. So I, with my no other options self, was like, yeah, I'll take the house. I just need some paint and some floor changes. Then 3 years later, it was done. We did so much work on this house. It is pretty much a brand new house. My dad helped us so much. He did so much of the work for us, so the labor cost was 0 because me, my dad, and Keaton did it, and somewhere along the way Keaton decided, no, this is something that I want to be a part of. So anyways, I won't bore you too much on the details of that. I talk about this house renovation project all the time. It's one of the things in my life that I am the most proud of, but I will not bore you with the details. So we finally moved in like 2022 or 2021. I don't remember because it was right at the new year. It was either the new year of 2021 or the new year of 2022. Probably 2022? That doesn't sound right. Was it 2023? It was 2023. Okay, so So we bought it in January of 2020, and then we finally moved in January of 2023, and I was so happy to move in, but like everything was still all over the place. The cabinets were not finished. I'm trying to think, like there was just still stuff like not done, but I could not wait any longer. I was so excited. We had been working on it for such a long time. I was like, I don't care if it's not all the way finished, at least it's not how it was when we started. Anyway, so now we've been living here and it's been amazing. I love this house so much. I feel so thankful for it every single day, and we put so much hard work and so much of ourselves into this project, and it was great. So that is about it to bring you up to date on who I am and what I am. And I never went to college. I just graduated high school and was in the workforce. I worked in the restaurant industry for a really long time, and then I became an executive assistant, and now I will be leaving that job and going back to serving because I am going to college in the fall of 2025, which is so very exciting and I cannot wait to start. But yeah, so that is me. And I guess I could tell you about my relationship a little bit better. Keaton and I have been together for 5 years. We started dating when I was 17 and he was 19. And it has been such a wonderful relationship for me. I don't want to speak for him. I never want to speak for him, but I just could not imagine a better fit for me as a human being. We share so much of the same sense of humor and so much of the same like drive for what we want for our future. And I'm just so thankful for him and I love him so much. But I won't talk about him too much because he is not a social media guy. So now we can talk about some of the things I love. Obviously, if you are not new here, you know that one of my favorite things on this planet is reading and books. I used to love reading books whenever I was in middle school, but it dropped off quite a bit when I was in high school. I mean, I would still go to the library and pick up a book every now and then, but not like middle school. All that I did with my spare time was read, which is probably because I didn't get a phone until I was in I want to say the end of my 8th grade year, my freshman year of high school. So I didn't really have an option of anything else to do. All my friends had phones and I was like, I want a phone so bad. So instead I just read. So then after I was done with high school, I did not read at all, and then I randomly decided to take the Hunger Games with me to the beach, and I started reading it and then immediately ordered Catching Fire and Mockingjay and read those as soon as I got home. Girls, that was it for me. That's all it took. I have been reading ever since then. I've been reading as much as I can get my little hands on. I would say what really set me on fire for reading was definitely the ACOTAR series. I read a lot of romances, but I wasn't like in love with reading until I picked up the ACOTAR series. It was just so good. And then of course I read Throne of Glass. Let me not talk about books too much because you girls, you already know about me and my books. But what I will tell you is my favorite authors are Sarah J. Maas and Ali Hazelwood. And some authors that I have really been loving more recently would be Carissa Broadbent. No, it's Cassandra Wait, hold on, And then some authors that I've been loving more recently would be Carissa Broadbent and Annabelle Monaghan. Most of the time when I'm talking about books, I'll pick one fantasy and one romance because in my head, they're just not comparable genres. Like what goes into a good fantasy and what goes into a good romance are two very different things. But I haven't read all of Carissa Broadbent or Annabelle Monaghan's books, so that's why I can't put them higher. I have read all of Sarah J. Maas and all of Ali Hazelwood, so I feel comfortable saying they are in fact my favorite authors. And then the genres that I read are fantasy, literary fiction, and romance. I don't read too much nonfiction. I mostly read romantasy when I say fantasy, but the romance part does not need to be like the focal point. I don't necessarily want that. I just like to have a little bit of a romance subplot. Let's talk about music because last year for me was the year of concerts and I have a whole new love for music. I've always loved music. It used to make me feel so special and honored in high school when my friends would pick me to be on aux because I didn't drive. So it was just like when they would pick me, it would be me on aux in like their cars. I just stabbed myself in the eyeball, so don't mind this eye being watery and red. So some of my top artists every single year is 21 Pilots. Actually, the top 3 spots stay pretty the same, and these 3 are always at least in my top 5, and that is 21 Pilots, One Direction, and Billie Eilish. I love them all for very different reasons. I have been listening to 21 Pilots since I was very young because my oldest brother was into them, and I don't know about you guys, but whoever your oldest sibling was, usually whatever music they were into means that you were into it because somebody had to drive you to school and somebody had to drive you around. Whatever they were playing in the car was what you got to listen to. One person who's not going to let you have aux is your oldest brother. I can tell you that right now. So anyways, I would listen to them because of him, and at first it was just like, oh, this is just my brother's music, but then once my brother stopped driving us around and my other brother started driving us around, we would still listen to it. And then after that, when my little sister was driving us around, we would still listen to it. And then in my like adulthood or whatever, when I'm playing my own music, I would still listen to it. So it's just been something that I've listened to like my whole life, and I love just the sound of their music. I don't know how to explain it. The way that I get into music is obviously I love to sing along, I love the lyrics, but usually I'm not listening to necessarily what the lyrics mean. I'm listening so much more to the music itself and like the instruments and stuff like that, and based on how those make me feel, not how they sound. They could sound terrible. There are some songs that my friends have been like, Grace, this is god awful, but it made me feel good, and so I just like that song. Why am I getting into this right now? I'm just supposed to be telling you artists and songs that I love. So I love 21 Pilots, I love Billie Eilish. Obviously that one you could probably guess is because of the sound. Billie Eilish's music is just really satisfying, and the instrumental part and her voice blending with it is so, I don't know how to explain it other than satisfying. So all 3 of those artists, One Direction, 21 Pilots, and Billie Eilish, I listen to every single one of their songs. If I had to pick a favorite from each of them, for One Direction, it would probably be, that's really hard. Ooh, I keep almost saying one and then I'm like, wait, no. I really like Walking in the Wind, but I think I would have to say Spaces maybe. I really like the album 4, and I really like the album, shoot, why can I forget the name of everything, so give me 1 second. We're gonna remember the names. I wonder if I can tell you your most listened to from the artist. Okay, I really love Made in the AM and 4, those are my favorites, but their earlier albums are the most nostalgic, obviously. Ooh, this is so... I do love Happily. Guys, I need to pick one for each album. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm gonna say Fireproof or Spaces from the album 4 is probably my favorite. And then for 21 Pilots, I know it's so basic and boring, but one of my favorites have always been Trees by 21 Pilots. And then Billie Eilish is I Don't Want to Be You Anymore. That one, again, it's just because it's a classic one. Like, obviously, some of her newer music I love. I love Wildflower from her new album. I love Bittersweet. I love L'amour de ma vie. L'amour de ma vie. I'm probably saying that wrong, but I love all of their stuff. Those are just some of the ones that I tend to listen to on repeat. And then some songs that I love just outside of my favorite artist. I have talked about it before, but I'm so obsessed with the song So Cold by Blue Brigada. That is one of my favorite songs of all time. I keep listening to it and I just can't get tired of it. I can't stop listening to it over and over again. My friends and family, I think, are worried for me because of it. Every time I turn it on, they're like, oh my god, please. And then I force them to listen to it all the way through. So now I'll only share one more favorite song because I get stuck on topics, and if I don't force myself to change them, I'll just sit here and talk about it forever. But I've recently started listening to Taylor Swift and Gracie Abrams, and I was told to listen to Gracie Abrams by my bestie Kaden. He said that based off the music I listen to, I would love her. So I have only started with the first album. I like to know every single song by heart. I sing along. You could pick any song on my playlist, and unless it was recently added, I would probably know it word for word just because that's the way that I am. So I've started with her first album, and I am obsessed with the song Long Sleeves. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Long Sleeves from her album Minor, or EP, I don't remember what it is. You get what I'm saying. So that's one of my more recent favorites. And then for Taylor Swift, I don't know the name of it because I just keep hearing it. But I definitely love Betty on Folklore. Evermore. It's either Folklore or Evermore. I can never remember, but it's the gray one. I really like that song. And then I also like the song, see, this is a problem, I can't remember the name. I like the song The Great American Dynasty. And then there's one on 1989 that I just listened to that I really liked. I have gotten into listening to Taylor Swift because, well, one, me and one of my friends talked about it one time as a joke, like, should we become Swifties? Like, I feel like we're late to the party because both of us listened to her when we were younger. And then I've just been thinking about it because some of my favorite YouTubers listen to her and talk about her so much, and I'm like, oh my god, like, am I just being dumb and not listening to her music for no reason? So I have started listening. We'll see how far it goes. I've been loving it so far. I listened to her when I went on my walk yesterday with the dogs, and it felt like I was in a movie. Like, it was a really good time. So I think that we will probably continue listening to T Swifty, but I don't know where it'll go. It definitely seems like the kind of music that I like, and it also seems like the kind of music that would be great to listen to while I'm reading books, because her music almost always seems like it's like telling a story. So I love that. Now, another really big thing about me is that I love hosting. This past year in 2024, I hosted Friendsgiving. I hosted a birthday brunch for most of my siblings. I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure I did one for most, if not all of my siblings. And then we did a New Year's dinner. Why does everything leave my mind? We did my dad and Uncle Chris's birthday dinner, and I think that's all. But this year we will be doing a Galentine's party, not at my house, but me and my friend Sarah are hosting together. And that is what I want to get more into this year, is hosting things with my friends. I feel like it would make it so much more fun, and it would take a lot of the pressure off of me doing it by myself. So we shall see about that. But yes, my favorite things are reading, crafts, books. Okay, reading and books are the same thing. Let's try again. Reading, crafts, music, hosting, and friends and family. Like, those are all my favorite things. And of course, my boyfriend, Keaton. So thank you girls for getting ready to meet. Hello! It is 7 a.m. to be fair. Thank you all so much for getting ready with me. I hope that you learned a little bit if you wanted to. And if you have questions, just let me know. But I will be seeing you later. Goodbye.